we go back even in Genesis, we will see a different type of love that the world is showing you. And I guess that's why God says, don't live according to the cost of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because from the time you came into the earth and opened your eyes, you didn't open your eyes to heaven. You opened your eyes to the earth. You opened your eyes to everything in the earth that was transforming your mind. When we look at magazines are transforming our young women's lives to what they should wear, why they should wear it, who they should look like, who they should imitate. And so everything that you see, and that's why in the book of James, God says, look here, the things that get you in trouble is the lust of the eyes. Right. Everything that you see. And then he still come back and tell us, be ye transformed by the renewing of this mind that the world has already caused you to conform to. And how do we do that? We go back to Genesis in the beginning, when God made us. The first thing he said, I made you in my image and in my likeness. And so when we want to know who we should look like, we shouldn't be looking to see if we can look like Beyonce and all those characters that you look at and try to dress like. All those movie stars and those young people who have 6 rings in their ears and 1 in their nose and 1 in their navel. And then the little minis and the little tight things that you got to keep pulling down every second. You walk, you're going to pull it down. His image is not outward. No. And the reason you say, well, what does God look like? How he dressed? I'm in this image and I'm like him. Well, the first thing he did was he put on the garment of praise. He clothed himself in righteousness. Right. And let me tell you what happens when you clothe yourself first in the likeness and in the image of God. You automatically will clothe yourself outwardly. Right. Because you have to clothe yourself inwardly first.
What's on the inside, come on the outside.
Inwardly first. And what happens is, when I gave my life to the Lord, I used to be in the casino, a lead topless dancer. So, halfway clothing. And that was the image. I wanted to be a dancer. I didn't want to be a topless dancer. I just loved to dance. It was a gift that God placed in me. But the world dictated to me and said, well, you love the gift of dance. We have a job that you can dance 2 shows a night and you can do this thing that you love to do. But there's a type of clothing that you have to wear. I was so desperate to fulfill my gift of dance. By any means, well, whatever it is you want me to wear, the big feathers and the jewelry and the G-strings and the bra and whatever, because I loved dancing. But that was what the world taught me. But when I got transformed by the renewing of my mind, when I give my heart to Christ, and I give my life and my body over as a sacrifice, I started to think different. I started to think, wait a minute. I called the producers and said, I cannot come back to work. I cannot be in the new show. I feel naked. 15 years as a professional lead dancer in a casino, 15 years later you just realize you're naked? Yeah. Because I was transformed. My mind was renewed. I was enlightened. And all of a sudden it was like, oh no, my body is now his temple. And so when you begin to love God first, you begin to love yourself. And then you begin to think different. And so all of a sudden in church, people saw me came with my little spaghetti strap the first time I got saved, and I didn't have any clothes to wear. That's why I was wearing them. So, sometimes you see people, don't judge them first. find out what their needs are first. And as they begin to find out what my needs were, I was able to go to the church in a little storehouse and pick out clothes that people bought, to give away. And I was able to put on nice clothes. Why? Because my mind was renewed. I began to wear different types of clothing. The first thing you have to do is love God and love myself. When you become insecure and don't feel like you're lovable and you're loved, you start doing things according to the world. And so as a woman, that's very important. Because if you don't love yourself, others can see that you don't love yourself. So they take advantage of you. She's desperate. She don't know she's beautiful. She doesn't know that she's lovable. So I can use her. I can treat her any kind of way. I can talk to her any kind of way. Why? She's stupid. She don't know she's special. She doesn't know that she's fearfully and wonderfully made, that she's a beautiful specimen. Why? Because she doesn't, first of all, know what God says about her. She has no relationship with him. I'm the apple of his eye. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Do you think if I know that, somebody can tell me I'm dumb? You stupid B-I, you know what, T, you spell. You old whore. You with your fat, sloppy self. You don't mind what you. You're slim and skinny and beautiful like her. Do you think if I know that I'm the apple of his eye and I'm fearfully and wonderfully made? Don't you think if I know that I'm an asset to the person that comes into my life, that I would walk around having someone do that to me? No. If I don't know that I'm a queen, that I'm valuable, because when you know that you are a treasure and you're valuable, anyone who comes in to find you will not find you among the costume jewelry. They will have to first say, excuse me, sir, can I see that? Do you mean that which is locked away? Well, these are our precious jewels. Expensive. I'll have to call the manager to get the key. The manager is the Holy Spirit. That's why it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. Who's the Lord? The Lord over the owner of. He's my Lord. He owns me. He has the keys. In order to get me, you have to go to the manager. The Bible calls it the bishop of my soul. My Lord. Landlord, the owner of my soul. If you want me, you have to go to him. So most of the time, the guy does not go to the landlord or the owner because you sell yourself as a costume jewelry. It's laying all over the place and someone come and steal it. It don't make a difference. They won't even miss it because they got tons of it that cost them nothing. You don't even have a value on you. Can you imagine? Why would I want you and you don't have a value? That I can just probably take some coins and pick you up. I could borrow $1 and borrow $1 to get you. Why would I want that to be a prized possession? But when someone sees you and know that you know who you are, and first of all, you love yourself because you love the God that created you. And you know who you are. You would not be in a position where you settle for less than the value. So God sees you and says, honey, you're fine. Well, thank you. You're beautiful. Thank you. But I'd like to take you out for a drink, or I'd like to buy you this, or, hey, just excuse me. I know who I am. And I don't need for nothing because God supplies my every need. When a guy tries to sell you cheap, say, excuse me. I don't even like the idea of you disrespecting me. Do you know who I am? Because if you don't, I know who I am. I'm the apple of his eye. I am God's prized possession. And I don't see that you really know the value of me, so we don't have anything in common. But the guy that approaches you and says, oh, my sister, there's something special about you. And God told me that you are his prized possession. See, he already have a relationship with your Lord. That he can go to the landlord, and the landlord says, you see those houses there on the beach? They the upscale, $1 million at a time. But the ones over there, if you can't afford that, those that over there, you can just move in and pay me weekly. There, you can afford those. You say, no, but what does it take for me to get that? First of all, you already speak to the landlord, and the landlord already told you that those are the prized possession. So when you get there, your expectation, you already know I have to handle this. I can't just walk in there with my slippers full of dirt and smoking. And no. There's some things that when I approach to get in that gate, I have to be number one, qualified.
Right.
Number one, a man has to be qualified. And a woman has to know that in order for him to qualify, he has to know my worth and my value.
Right.
That's right.
I'm going to stop there because you can, based on how. When a man knows there's something value and qualifying.
Well, let me say this to you. The first thing about love is, if you love someone, you will give. Because the Bible says, for God so loved the world, what he did? He gave. So if someone tell you they love you, and you the one always giving, you know what happens? You may be in love, but that person may not necessarily love you.
Or know the value of your love.
Well, if he don't give you, then he really don't know the value of you. But she don't know the value of you. And so it's important you understand that is the first prerequisite. The second thing, though, is love is unconditional. You see? That's what true agape love. For me, the word agape to me means unconditional. When I love Anne because of her faults and because of her good part. I don't just love her when she is doing what I like. But even when she does something I do not like, I still have to love her.
Yes.
If that's what true love is all about. It's unconditional. You see, what you must understand is that Christ looked beyond your faults
Yes.
and saw your need. He looked beyond your faults, your nasty ways, your bad attitudes. Don't care what time you cuss a person. Christ looked beyond that.
Yes.
So then it's my responsibility in my relationship with my wife, in my relationship with my friend, in my relationship with my family, I am to look beyond their faults
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and see their need.
Yes.
So many times people will say, well, you let him do that to you, you let him do that to you, because I'm looking beyond their fault
Right.
and see their need.
Yes.
That's what true love is all about. The third thing that love is all, it's about forgiveness.
Yes.
Can you forgive your friend, your family, your wife, your husband? Can you forgive them when they've done something wrong? Even though it might have upset you to a very high degree, but can you forgive? I found out that the biggest problem with Christians today is we do not know how to forgive.
Right.
We hold on to things forever. But remember now, God forgive you.
Yes. Yes.
Some of y'all are sitting here this morning, God, you committed a sin last night,
Yes.
and God had to forgive you. I can't hear you. Y'all can play crazy with me. But some of y'all did some things last night y'all know y'all shouldn't have done. But God already forgive you for that, even before you did.
You look beyond.
And but yet, you cannot forgive your brother or your sister when they do you something wrong. You hold something against your wife for 10 and 20 days. You hold something against your husband forever. No, you have to learn to forgive. True love is about forgiving.
Yes.
Now I understand my wife to say women are incubators. But you see, I'm a firm believer, although you're an incubator, you're not an incubator first.
Yeah.
You're a child of God first.
Yes.
And a child of God should be forgiving first.
Yes.
I cannot hear you.
Yes.
You should be, so don't be trying to incubate too much things, to hold on to things for too long. Release it and let it go. I know the woman in the dark, amen, too much. But I can stay there too much saying, release it and let it go. This ain't no season to be incubating nothing. Because you got to operate in forgiveness.
Yes, God wants us to put a timer on our incubation because you know often a woman has a
Let me give you the timer. The timer is, don't let the sun go down on your love. That's the timer. By the time the sun goes down, you should be forgiven. The timer should be out the window.
And that's a commitment we made 13 years ago when we got married. One of the things is we decided never to go to bed angry. Now, you know, the sun, when it's about to go down, and I'm still angry, I'm hoping the sun will stand still.
You're Joshua.
Because I want to be angry a little bit longer. I want our bread to really brown in the oven.
And understand this, Cassidy. That's why as men, we have to love Eastern Standard Time. Because the sun goes down quicker at Eastern Standard Time.
Which means I can let
tell me that. At 5 o'clock Friday, it can start to get dark. You can wait till 8 o'clock. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they can hold it all day, but by 5:30, the sun going down, so they got to release that.
That's a strategy on that. If I get upset over something in the morning, he calls me right away and he says, listen, you know, you have a keeping number on you.
You know I know, but keep it
Listen,
number, right?
I need you to call for me and find out XY. I said, okay, no problem. Then he calls back with something else. Listen, about that thing. I'll check it out. By the third time, I'm like, wait a minute, I wanted to really be angry. We talking. And he has a strategy of doing things like that, you know, you have to talk, you have to do business, and you have to. So then there's no time to get angry. And then, you know, if it's in the morning, when you wake up, we got to pray before I leave the house. We can't pray if I'm angry. Because God already said that, listen, before you even come to me, go get it right. Come to no altar, come to you praying. And you know, I dilly down in the mirror and all that, and he's sitting on the bed saying, listen, I got to go to work. Time for us to pray. Okay. You pray. By the time he finished praying, yes, Lord, and Father, we thank you. Thank you for cleansing us from all righteousness. Honey, I'm sorry. But that is the key.
Yes.
When you set yourself as a couple, one of the things we decided, and in 13 years,
We have lived that.
we lived it. And tomorrow we'll make 13 years. That was one of the things. One night, I tried to go back in time. When I was single, I used to love Victoria's Secret silk pajama. The see-through ones, and you know, when you're single, you ain't sleeping in no negligee because I have no man. And one night I was a little upset. And I went and I decided, well, you know I angry if I put my little silk pajama on. As soon as I got in the bed, he said, you got on your mind, too late. I burst out laughing.